Right, we can get started. I know there's a holiday in Spain today, so it will be here. Jessica as well. Right. I I figured there'd be probably two topics today. One that I've already put into the other pad, which is the thing from OpenStack. Jessica will talk about the device location tracker. And then I figure we'll probably end up talking about the NFS stuff as well, a little bit. So some people are in here who know about that. Um, around, I like the old tracker.
Hey,
Is there actually a new tracker, Francesco, for
hey, yeah,
sorry.
so I just created this tracker to compare what we did with Ceph Ansible in the past and what is done today by Ceph ADM. So it's not high priority, which means we don't have to rush on this kind of change. But the main topic here is that with Ceph Ansible, we were able to customize the crash device class per OSD. While Ceph-ADM just uses Ceph volume in batch modes, you pass the list of OSDs and you just prepare and activate them. So this is mostly for our CI, where we kind of bake the SSDs to create crash hierarchies and apply rules on just devices that are all the same, but we um, need to assign a different crash device class in order to be able to make sure we have coverage for that kind of feature. So that's the thing. And I created this tracker, and I'm wondering if we want to have different syntax for the device class, the path that we pass to the drive group, or we can just make that part smarter enough to process device classes per OSD. So that's the context. I'm
You
not
actually
sure
link
if you
us
have an
that
idea.
you link us that tracker. The one I put in the other pad actually is the old one from Corey Snyder. I don't think you have the link to your new one.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this is the old one. And basically, what it does is setting the crash device class as a global parameter, which means that you define a list of OSDs and that crash device class is applied to all the devices because you run Ceph volume in batch mode. So you pass this list, this big list of OSDs, and you apply this device class to all of them. While the tracker I opened, and let me, and I can, it's in the header pod here. Okay. So this one is related to what I was talking about.
Okay. I mean, if it was something we could do in Ceph Ansible, I have no problem with us having it here. I guess the only question is how we want to format the YAML here. Um,
Yeah, I'm not sure how much popular was this feature that we had in.
and this is actually the
Uh,
first I've heard about it. So I don't think a lot of people were using it, but we could definitely try it
yeah,
out.
but this basically allows to have more coverage in CI. So as a side effect of this missing feature, we are not able to basically duplicate the same jobs that we had with Ceph Ansible and make sure they work with Ceph ADM.
Okay. Yeah, so I have no problem with it. It's just functionality wise, it's just a matter of how we want to format this in the YAML, which I guess is why I asked you, you wanted to bring it up in, if you want to discuss that. Because obviously we have this thing where right now the path section is just a list. Um, and so we'd have to have this section in here where we do a crush device class under that. Be a little
Yeah.
bit more than a normal
So
list.
I tried the first POC on my dev environment, and basically you can just make this list a dictionary using this format described in the tracker. And you can create this device object. There is the device class, Python within drive groups, and you can add this additional field, the crash device class. So it's assigned per device. And then there is a device selection in the drive groups that you can use to filter your devices that would be preferred by Ceph volume. And basically what I found is that um, you have to, if there is this kind of syntax in the spec, you can process them in a different way, which means you have to create, you can still rely in the batch mode for Ceph volume, but it's more the interactive mode here, where you prepare each device like in a for loop, one by one, and you were able to pass the device class. So the pattern, the approach is a bit different because in batch mode you have the whole list and you have the crash device class as a global parameter applied to the whole list. Well, here you should create this loop where you're running Ceph volume, creating the OSDs one by one because they can potentially have different crash device class applied as per that syntax I pasted in the tracker.
All right. Well, it sounds like at least the YAML part of it won't be that bad if just the native dictionary just works for there. Yeah, I guess we'll have to figure out the batch thing because that will slow down the OSD deployment a lot if we have to do them all individually for that. Unless we
Yeah,
can, like, I guess steadily what we could do is maybe we could sort them by the ones because it seems like it's mostly just SSD and HDD here. So maybe we could sort them by like all the ones with SSD. We can put in one batch or something like that. I'm not sure.
yeah, you can basically optimize this creation by grouping disks by crash device class and then run the Ceph volume in batch mode, applying that label to hold the disk that you define in the spec. So basically, this could optimize a bit the way you apply this crash device class because it's true that using this syntax you are able to apply this label per OSD per device, let's say, but then you can build two or at least three lists and you have to run two or at least three Ceph volume commands. So basically we can group things together.
Yeah, it'd be
And
nice
I
to run
think
like two
that's
or three
the
then
best approach.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. I guess we'll have to also be careful about the default one because we still have obviously the spec wide option as well. So it's allowed to be set as like a default. Like I guess if you set pass and that one, we have to have the path be the more important one, and then have this the spec wide one be the default. And we'll also have to, I guess, take account that some of them are going to have no device class. So I guess yeah, we'll be up to three batch commands, I guess, for if you have up like HDD ones, SSDs, and then some that
Yeah.
are unmarked.
Yeah. That's the case.
Okay. That doesn't sound like it'll be too bad. At least if it's only three batch commands per spec at most. Again, that's only if people actually want to use this and want to set a bunch of different devices, which again, I think it's not a super widespread use case from what I can see, but so the performance of most people shouldn't be affected. And then I guess you'll maybe see it a little bit if you're doing this with like a bunch of OSDs in one host, but it shouldn't be too bad, I think, with only three. Let me write a little bit of that down. That sounds good. I mean, I think that sounds reasonable. Do it that way. We'll use a dictionary in the spec, and then
Yeah.
we'll set up those up to three things. We'll have to have a little bit of logic that sorts them through the spec and everything, but I don't think it sounds too bad. Gone through it. Yeah, I'll probably update the tracker or whatever with some of the stuff we talked about as well. But it sounds good. Anything else you can say about it? It seems like it's just have to go with budget now.
Yeah, thanks. I agree. So we can basically group the disks and run up to 3 step volume commands, and that's good enough.
Okay. Sounds good. That covers that topic. I don't have it in the agenda as well, but I know people are already talking in the chat about the NFS stuff.
Yes. So it started out with actual debugging and then turned into me debugging the fact that I can't apparently send messages to IRC, even though I can read the conversation. So it sounds like there's some potential debugging. In IRC, Frank is saying that he may have introduced a regression with a new config section. And then over GChat, Ramana is suggesting how I can add it to the config. And that is, you're getting like 3 seconds ago. That's how up to date you are. So yeah, I'll try some of these things after the meeting, and yeah, and then long after the meeting, I'll try and figure out why I can't use IRC correctly, but that's a different story. Yeah, it sounds like this could be the culprit, so we'll see if the behavior changes with this config section or not.
All right, cool. It sounds like progress there at least. Yeah, I'll copy the IRC conversation probably into the other patch. I know some people either missed it entirely or joined partway through or something, and you can't go back and get those, I think. So
yeah,
I'll put that in. I'll put it up to here at least. I'll copy it in there. Doesn't sound like we need to actually discuss it much in here. It sounds like it's they're getting closer to finding out what happened.
Yeah, I'm just I'll probably need a little bit more hand holding because I'm familiar enough with the format from hacking on the Python side of the module, but that's modifying what was already there. This is like adding a new config block, and this is one of those things where I usually have like documentation in my browser window as I hack on things. I don't know exactly where it fits in. That's it. So nothing big. I just need to experiment with it on my test setup here.
Yeah, John, I can help you out. So it should be good.
Yeah, thanks. No, you're already being helpful in GChat. I just I'm kind of catching up to where you guys already are far ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean, as I already emailed the two of you and the Mandala team, I'm moving over to the RBD team to help them out because they're short-staffed. So please reach out to the Ceph team, and you can also, of course, reach out to Frank Fils, who's the PTL of the Ganesha project. So yeah, you'll have all the info you need.
Yeah, Frank should be a good contact to have. We had to reach out to the SFS team a bit earlier, but I think it ended up back at you. Like it went from, I asked Daria, I think he went to Greg, and then went back to you after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the transitioning, transitioning. Yeah, I think it'll take a while for him to catch up. So until then, yeah, Greg wanted me to help you guys out. Hopefully they can do that quickly. Get him up to speed.
Hopefully this doesn't come up too often. I know this is the second time now this has happened where we've had some big problems with this, mounting these things, but I think last time it resolved itself. I think it may have been on our side with some the way we were kind of building the images, but at least this time you're still here to help. And again, we'll be able to ask Frank, I guess, in the future. If this comes up again. So that's really helpful.
Sure.
All right. I don't think there's much to say more about that in here. Something that I guess has to be handled offline. People are looking into it. That should be the last issue we have in our testing speed. I guess I'll update a little bit on that. I did a testing run that finished a couple of days ago, and that one was mostly good. Obviously, still had this issue in there, and there was some other Rados issue, which turned out to be an actual issue that got merged in. Some regression got merged a few days ago, or a while back actually. Now, but it just didn't show up in the test until now. But other than that, our run was pretty good. So I'm about to be finally able to start merging things again. So basically, once we have this NFS stuff figured out, we'll be down to only a handful of small issues, mostly like installing packages and like some FFS mirror timing out, stuff like that. That we can go address directly. But we're pretty close, I think, once we have the NFS stuff figured out to being back to having a pretty clean test suite. And we at least have it clean enough now where we can start merging things again. So shouldn't be as stuck as we were for pretty much the entirety of November. Cool. That's really it. That's all I had for today. Does anyone else have any other topics they want to bring up in here? No, seems like we're good. All right, in that case,
I'll just announce that I believe that that workaround is going to. I'll give more details in the BZ, but I believe the suggested workaround is working now.
Oh, cool. Good to hear.
So it does sound like there's a little regression in Ganesha when this option is not present.
Well, I guess we can handle it from our side at least. They can work on something there afterwards.
Yeah, we'll figure out who wants to fix it first. I don't know if this option will be rejected by older versions, and if we care about older versions, so if we add it and it breaks older versions, we might not want to do that, and we might rather just wait for them to fix it. We'll see.
Yeah, we could always test it against like Pacific or something. Yeah. I assume our Pacific builds are using older versions of Ganesha. Yeah, we'll do that after. We'll figure that all out. At least this gives us somewhere to start with, and we know what's sort of going on now.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, does anyone else have any other last comments? No, I think we're good. All right, in that case, have a good rest of your day. I guess I'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.